Yo guys, back for another episode of our FIFA 18 career mode with Burton Albion, starting today's episode off in the new season with the club. Obviously just got promoted into the Premier League and basically just going to be starting the season off this episode, basically going through some transfer stuff, going through the pre-season tournament which we're in, and also I think that's it. I think just going through. So there ain't going to be any actual gameplay as such in this game. There's going to be no matches or anything like that, but that will be the first thing in the next episode. But anyway, coming into this, we'll be playing against Wigan. As you see, we've got into the pre-season tournament, and Wigan go ahead and get a second goal here. As you see, Grigg is one player I might look at signing sometime this season, but they do in fact win us in this game, which isn't good enough to be honest. We should be beating this team, being as we are a Premier League side now. We definitely should be winning them sort of games. We didn't do so, and that's just not good enough to be honest. We should be doing a hell of a lot better, and hopefully at some point we will be able to do that. And at this point we are actually going through, and we get an offer for Boyce, which we go ahead and try and get a bit of money out of him, because fair enough, he's the only striker that is left at the club that apart from Sordell, like, he'd be our highest rated player and highest rated striker. We do try and get 7 million out of them. They say no, they only want to pay 350, but it doesn't actually come off, as you see. Wasn't good enough to be honest. I wasn't exactly gonna try and sell him, but when I seen that he was worth like 6.5 million, I thought, you know what, if I can get that much money for him, I know I can bring in a better player, and that's what I tried to do. But now we go into the second game of the pre-season tournament. Foggy are take the lead. It's a team that I've never actually heard of, but they take the lead here, 1-0 up. And honestly, if we'd lost this game here, as you see, Miller gets us back into the game and draws us one apiece. And that is actually how the game finishes. And honestly, for a team that I've never heard of, that is poor to be only drawing with them. And then we get an offer for Ben Turner, which we go ahead and reject. I had a little think about it, but honestly, it's going to be too crucial a player for us to let him go this season. He's going to be an absolute pinpoint in our defence. But at this point, we have to win this match to even have a chance, and we needed the team that was in second, which I believe was Wigan, to lose their game. We had to win this one. As you see, we take an early lead, and yeah, we needed the team that was in second to lose, and then we had to win, which we were doing a very good job in doing so, as we take a 2-0 lead now. And then we go ahead and bag ourselves a third as Sabara bags a goal. And there was the two players I brought into this side for this game, Sordell and Sabara, and they both scored all the goals. And luckily we do get through to the semi-final of the cup competition, but we do fall behind within 13 minutes, and it means we are now 1-0 down, and that we should be winning these games. We should have won this tournament. Fair enough, we're not going to be even close to getting one of the best teams in the league or anything like that. We are literally the worst. Rating wise, we are the worst team in the league, but hopefully we can actually get out of it. But you see, we do lose in the semi-final 2-0, which isn't good enough. We was hoping that we could go through to the final and win it to get ourselves a bit more money, because they only gave us 3 million this season, which I don't think is that good, to be honest, for the fact that of what we actually did. I think they should have given us more money, but they didn't do so. We have to work with what we've got basically. And then, as you see, we go in for a player called Wyke from Bradford, I believe that is. I seen him when it was there, and it was like 850,000 for him, and then it said that I could get him for like 750. I thought if I can get him on a knocked off price, fair enough, he's 67 overall and 25 years of age. It isn't that good, but for the fact that of the amount of money I have, and I have to build the squad up at this point because I haven't got a lot of players, I was looking to him to be more of a squad packing player, and he'll play a lot of games, don't get me wrong, but he isn't going to be in front of Boyce or Sordell this season. I don't think, unless he comes into it and literally lights the league on fire, he won't be. But we go into his wage contracts here, as we try and pull him in on a cheap deal, to be honest. For a 67 rated player, fair enough, he's a League 1 striker. To move a League 1 striker, I always like doing it, I don't know why, but I love buying players from like lower leagues, especially if it's like a low league Premier League side to a team that's just came up from the Championship. I love buying players to from lower leagues like League 1, League 2, and bringing them up into the Premier League or the Championship, because I find it fun for the fact that them players have came up from that point. It was like, I like it because it's a sort of like a Jamie Vardy sort of thing, and he came up from League 2. Well, technically he came up from the National League to the Championship and now in the Premier League. That's what I want to do with these players. Fair enough, they ain't going to get into them high-rated the high-rated like overalls or anything like that. But for the first couple of seasons to 3 seasons or whatever happens, depending on the first season and stuff, he's going to be a main player in this side. And I think he'll play. I like doing it because I like the fact of it's like an up-and-coming thing. And I don't know why. And a lot of people watching this might think, what the hell are you doing? You're signing a 25-year-old 67 rated player. You could probably sign a young up-and-coming striker and stuff like that. But the fact is, on this game, he'll cost me so much to get a 67 rated 18, 19, 20-year-old. It'll cost me so much more than buying him. And I think it'll just help if I can sign him. And he'll, like I say, I'm hoping he'll do the business that we need him to. And he's English, so it also helps. But as you see, he does actually accept his contract. And we go in and make our first signing of the season. And the first signing of the episode. As you see, we get an offer for Davenport there, as we go ahead and accept his loan offer, because at the end of the day, fair enough, we need players in the squad still, and I only realised that after I'd actually hit accept. But I don't think he's going to be playing many, if any, games this season. Fair enough, he played a few games in last season and stuff like that, but I don't think he will this season. As we get an offer for Cottrell there, which we go ahead and reject, because there was no way I was selling, even loaning him out to QPR. Like I say, he is like a successor to Ben Turner at this point. He's only 1 overall lower, and he's going to be a main part of our centre-backs this season, and I really need him in the side. But we go in to try and make our second signing of the season and second signing of today's episode, which we go in for Ezekiel Friars, who was actually on the transfer list. And my recommendations to people that are watching this, honestly, in the second season, well, any season, but I've never been past the first season on this FIFA. I've not really played into it much. As we come in for our third signing of this season, where Fryer actually gets his offer accepted, and we get going for this guy from Bologna. His name was Boulder even, 23-year-old, 66 rated centre back, which I hope he'll come in and do a good job if we can, in fact, sign him. But anyway, like I was saying, go on to the transfer list, because there's so many good players that actually go on the transfer list. I like how they've done it. They actually, if a team goes down, then a few of their players actually get put on the transfer list, and I quite like how that works. So I don't know about if the players that are there maybe get a deduction on how much they cost or anything like that, but I know that they do sell a lot of players on there now, and it is like, for my team at least at this point, Boulder will be a good backup centre back, no problem. And also Fryer, he'll be my main centre back, left back, if he comes into the side, because he is actually 69 rated. And to be honest, for a 69 rated left back, and we definitely needed a left back at this point because we only have one in the squad, and that's Flanagan. And Fry will come in and be better than him, and he'll be younger as well. So I think it'll be a bonus. As you see, Boulder does get his offer accepted, and we go into contract negotiations for both the players in Fryer and Bologna here, where we take the first contract offer here for Fryer, where we go in and offer him an important squad. We actually offer him a rotation because at this point I didn't actually know what his overall was, and we go in and say a rotation player is just trying to basically feel out what sort of player he's going to be in, and then they say come back and say an important player. So at this point I knew he was going to be a decent player. He'll be quite like for our team he'll be a higher overall, and that's what I was really looking at as we offer him a 5-year contract. And at this point it's so hard to get players on a 5-year contract, and it's frustrating, but it isn't at the same time, because I like it because it's a little bit more realistic, and not every player accepts a 5-year contract anymore. They normally like negotiate with it, and it's not straight 5 years. But I am glad that we can. And here you see we go in for the contract negotiations, and only 5,000 a week is quite good for that, to be honest. I think for a 69 rated left back, personally I think 5,400 or whatever it was isn't a bad offer. Fair enough, we did have to pay him a lot for his signing on fee, but I think he'll be worth it in the season for the fact that, fair enough, we have Flanagan, but Fryer is going to be a better player straight from the offing, and he'll be also we'll have that second left back that we really need. And we go in here, as you see, for Bologna, but to Bologna for Boulder for his contract, as we offer him an important squad role as well. He only wants a 3-year contract this time, and we get rid of the release clauses. There's no point in that unless it's a big player. There's no point in me trying to do that in any way, as we try and get him on a cheaper contract. As you see, he takes nearly a 2,000 wage reduction just to come to the Premier League, which is unbelievable, to be honest. And then, but he did want a big signing on bonus and a big bonus, which I wasn't willing to give him. But they do come back and say, I'll take 8,000, which is still 1,000 wage reduction on what he was, which I didn't actually realise at the point when I went into it that he'd had such high wages. For the fact that, well, for our club he has high wages of 9,000. I had to get it lower, and I did with 8,000, which is good enough for me. As we get an offer, the final thing in this episode is an offer for Botland, which we get rid of because we don't want to get rid of him. And that is the end of today's episode, guys. Thank you for watching. If you like, please leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and peace.